I finally built the Lucilla. Man, she's actually way too much good character that I ever thought it would be. And her design, oh my god, it is way too much seductive. Aside from her seductive and also lucrative design, she's actually a good character for the niche role playstyle. Yes, Wuthering has been releasing so many niche characters, and if I just give you a good example, that would be Lupa, who is actually going to be best in slot for the only mono pyro fusion teams. As outside of a mono pyro fusion team, she doesn't even have that much of a value. Other characters such as the Lucilla, who is actually going to be best in slot for the Glacier characters if you do have any of the Glacier DPS, since we do have recent powerhouse of a Glacier DPS, which is the Hyuki. As you can see through my screens, I'm currently running on that characters. She is the one who is actually going to be the get highest amount of benefit from getting a Lucilla on her team. And Lucilla is not only going to be benefit the Hyuki, there are some other characters. If you do have some other powerful Glacier characters, then I guess she also going to have her place. And in near future, if any of those like Glacier character comes off, that team also going to be required the Lucilla as well as the other characters who also playing the niche role as per the Lucilla, which is none other than the, what's her name again, of a Karthikeya support. I just totally forgot her name. She comes from the wind element, and her total of a kit is revolves around corrosion damage towards the Karthikeya, since Karthikeya really required the corrosion damage buff to do the actual damage. That's the main thing what the Karthikeya has been doing since the launch. Other characters such as the Dania, yes, Lucilla and also the Dania release time is too much close, because after the Dania release, Lucilla was the next one character that you have to grab on if you really want to make your Hyuki much more powerful. Dania was played as a two types of playstyle. First one is going to be the Tune Rupture or Tune Stain damage, and another playstyle is going to be Fusion Burst damage teams for the Amath. Amath is our recent Sentinel characters. We don't even know when the other Sentinel character are going to be released, but according to the story and also according to our leaks from developers, they already give us a confirmation. Next Fox character, I totally forgot her name. If you already know her name, just let me know in the comment section. She is going to be our next Sentinel according to the lore wise, but according to her body design and also whole over things, she might be going to be a support character rather than a DPS character. But don't even totally indulge by what the Kuro games actually try to provide you. If we just somehow guess a character's element by their ultimates and also by their color, Kuro games are always going to give us a Uno reverse card, and it is not going to be happen what we actually thought it would be. That's the thing, you have to take it as a grain of salt. So this Fox girl, what we actually going to get for our next Sentinel character, who are considered as, according to the lore wise, one of those like a top tier characters and most powerful being, just like the Eminator from the HSR and also Archon from the Genshin Impact. If you really want to clear the endgame mode without having any kind of problem, getting these types of character are also going to help you way too much better than ever. So pulling for a characters, if the character comes from the Sentinel, and also if the character comes from the anniversary character such as the Hyuki and also the Tazani, then you are also going to get a huge amount of value, since anniversary character tend to be long laster than any of those like a normal standard characters such as the Camellia or Jian or these types of things. Now I just totally forgot my topic, which is the Dania. Yes, Dania can be played as a Fusion Burst damage and also the Tune Rupture damage. Outside these two teams, she doesn't even have that much of value, and having to play Tune Rupture teams, you have to equip with her signature weapon. In Wuthering's signature weapon is kind of like a must have to each and every character. Some of the character might not even need, especially 1.0's characters, but in recently or some recent patches, Wuthering's DPS character or any other support character really require the signature weapon to maximize their output potential, which makes it kind of like a similar to predatory system, which people are not even tend to point it out, since the game is have way too much white knight. So I do really play Wuthering as not even that much. You can consider me as a tourist gamer, but I was a day one player for the previous project, which is a PGR. When the PGR was popular, people are not even consider this game having a try. All they really wanted to have is a Genshin Impact, but better, and they were totally indulging by the Genshin Impact. And when the Kuro games actually released a new game which is similar to Wuthering but better things, that's the time they try to indulge themselves into these types of game. And man, now PGR is somewhat of a in the name of alongside with the Genshin Impact and also some other games. Aside from the niche characters, they didn't even release any of the universal characters, but we do have a universal character such as the, since the Lahari was released in back into 3.0, they were released to one of those like a top tier character, or you can say the wheelchair characters even to this day, which is consist of a Linai and also the Morning. If you do have these two characters, you are going to get a 98% war up amount of all types of damage bonus without any kind of cooldowns. Now if you do give them a signature weapon, these 98% can be covered, but if you don't even have signature weapon for the Linai, you might be even restricted to use the only 73% or around like a 73 or 74%. So this is not even that much of a highly lost, but it is actually a way too much demanding thing, since you are going to get a 23% or you can say the 22% from getting a signature signature weapon, which is makes it somewhat of a predatory things, but people are not even tend to point it out. Anyway, there was some other controversial characters in Wuthering, which was the Frolova, where she really got a signature weapon, and also the another controversial character, which is the Chisa. Well, when Chisa was released, she was not even having any like a value towards the meta perspective, since her damage capability comes from the negative status and some other stuff. In that time, there was no another character negative status aside from her, so which makes kind of like a niche uses for her, and also people are really need to hold on her to for the future. If any future characters are released with their negative status things, then I guess she will have her place in that time. And right now we do have another character, which is the Hyuki. As you can see, she is kind of like uses the negative status buff from the Chisa and do the huge amount of damage, and Chisa actually find her role just by releasing the Hyuki. Before Hyuki, she was not even that much of a good character. Now, is Chisa actually a good one? The main thing is that her signature weapon, yes, without a signature weapon, she doesn't even give you a single things. Well, what all of her kit are going to be gives her a personal damage, or you can say consider the sub DPS characters, and also give you a little bit of a healing capability since she comes from the sustained class. And since she comes from the sustained class, whole of her kit is going to be revolves under the sub DPS, and if you don't even have a signature weapon, man, you are going to lose way too much things than ever. What I'm trying to say here is that Morny, who doesn't even require a signature weapon but can give you a one-shot resistance or interruption resistance, all types of damage buff for the 24%, attack buff just because of you are going to equip some echoes on her, and all of those things are going to be done just by having her a base copy without a signature weapon. Well, getting signature weapon can give you a good amount of crit damage, which can be a good things for your DPS characters. Now, when it comes to the Chisa's case, Chisa does not even have that, which makes her a kind of like a very bad characters, and having a signature weapon can give you a 24%, not actually 20, it was 28% all types of damage bonus towards the whole team members. So you can get it being a support characters, and her on her base kit doesn't even give you a that much of a support until you get a signature weapon. So isn't that a predatory practice that you have to get a signature weapon? Since if you lost a 50-50 on Chisa, try to get her with a 160 pulls and don't even have enough pulls, then I guess you have to use your actual money to make her viable into the current meta, or you can say the upcoming metas. Since without a signature weapon on her whole base kit doesn't even give anything at all. I guess I totally yap too much, which doesn't even going to be related to this topic. Let's see what kind of build that I already gave her to our Lucilla. The weapon that I used her, which is going to be the standard weapon. This standard weapon comes from the 1.0 version, not the 3.0 new of a standard version, or you can say the Laharo standard version. So for the echo set, I'm using the similar set of the Hyuki's one. Now this set can play it as a DPS characters, and also if you just somehow swipe with your headpiece with this like a elephant guy, you can even get a 12% glacier damage bonus whenever you are going to swipe after the Lucilla. Yes, in the rotation sectors, when the Lucilla comes off into the field and when the Lucilla leaves off the field, the next character should have to be Hyuki. Other than that, I guess you cannot even get the 12% of a glacier damage buff what this elephant guy can even give you when you are going to use the skills being on field for the Lucilla. So that's kind of like all of her pieces and the build, and also the status that I actually maintain with her, which is going to be the normal of a DPS status 70%. It didn't even reach to the 70%. It is stuck into 68 or 2025. Well, it is enough since he's not even doing the most of the damage. The most of the damage are going to be done by my Hyukis. So having this kind of status is kind of like a well-rounded of a normal things. For the talent, I already maxed out all of those things. The main thing is going to be resonance skill as a photo circuit, and resonance liberation is the main thing that you have to focus on, rather than just totally wasting on the single attack and also intro attack on some other normal attacks things. For the sequence, I haven't even get her another like a sequence. This is the base one copy of a Lucilla. Okay, that's all for like a build showcase. Let's see of her damage showcase. For her damage showcase, I'm going to test her out on my endgame mode, which is going to be the Tower of Adversity recently released, and the Tower of Adversity situation is not even that good, man. As I already mentioned before in my other videos, which I already make another video about the Tower of Adversity for the previous version, is that how the Wuthering is actually increasing the HP for certain bosses for the Tower of Adversity, and when the HP increase is actually happened, it doesn't even happen for 10 or 20%, it increased 44% from the previous version. Oh my god. Of course it was tend to happen since the Hyuki and also the Amada exist, and these two characters are like a powerhouse. Within those two characters, you are going to get a 500k or 400k or can be reach million damage without having any kind of problem. So having this kind of like a high amount of damage characters, if the character HP and also the resistance does not even increase that much, corresponding to this character damage, then you might not even feel the engagement about the clearing the endgame mode. You are going to see that, hey man, I can just totally clear it without a one swoop, and you might not even pull a next character whenever they are going to release, which is going to be the better than the Hyuki and also some other top tier DPS characters. So for the sell purpose and also for the marketing aspect, they are tend to increase the HP to make the player engage and also make the pull and next most prominent, or you can say the dominant DPS character in upcoming near future. Anyway, let's move on to our Tower of Adversity and let's see how does she actually perform. So for this Tower of Adversity team, I'm going to use this team, which is consist of a Hyuki, Lucilla and also the Chisa. In my previous team, which was considered as a premium team for the Hyuki, consists of a Deny, and I totally replaced Deny with the Lucilla. The main drawback that you are going to get from the previous team, which is going to be you cannot even have the tune break damage. Yes, this guard, which is a Deny, can even give you a huge amount of tune break damage, which your Lucilla cannot even give. But aside from the tune damage, she can even buff the glacier damage and also other things like reduce the glacier resistance from towards the enemy, which actually helps to deal a huge amount of damage for your Hyuki's case. But for the Deny, she's actually going to be a better pick compared to the Lucilla. But if you do have a Aima team, don't even have the Denia, then I guess you are going to be bound with the Deny and also Morny team. And since these two characters you cannot even duplicate it, you have to put the Lucilla on the Hyuki's team to make a 2 of a full team formations. Okay, so let's see how this team actually going to perform for our new Tower of Adversity. Another important thing is that this new Tower of Adversity also increased the HP of the bosses from the previous versions, and man, I haven't even checked it out how much of a percentage they have increased from the previous one, but it is actually pretty much a bad one, and the way they are trying to do or the way they are actually implement it is similar to the Hover's level. Let's talk about the rotation of the Hyuki and also this team case. This is similar to the previous one, where you have to start with your Chisa, uses her skills and also some basic attacks to fill up her gauge. Whenever the fill up gauge are going to happen, you are going to enable with the chainsaw mode and use your basic attack to hold on to the right of the bat and wait for another character outro to come off. And when the another character outro comes off, you have to move on to the Lucilla. When the Lucilla are being on the field, you have to use your skills on hold, because giving a on hold, you are going to get another extra skill points to fill up your gauge. When the gauge is fill up, use your ultimate, and then when the ultimate is actually deployed, hold your basic attack right of the bat just like the Chisa and wait for another character outro to come off. And before switching up the character from the Lucilla, you have to use your Galamoth, which is the elephant guy, which I already talked about it, because if you don't even use the Galamoth or you can say the Eco set, then I guess you can even get the 12% of a glacier damage whenever you are going to switch after the Lucilla. So after the outro buff comes off, completing the Lucilla's rotation, you have to switch over to the Hyuki, and when the Hyuki comes off, uses her ultimate right off the bat, uses her skill 2 times, and also deploy the echo at the same time and wait for her gauge to fill up with the 3 dots points. Whenever the 3 dots points are going to be done, all you have to do, press your right button and also smash your left button quickly, and you are going to see some of this like hack and slash are going to be happen there on your skills, and the rotation are going to be recycled over and over again. I know that this kind of like pretty much of a hard to understand since I am giving you a verbal things. When you are going to see a demonstration, I guess it could be a pretty much of easy clear for you. So as per the instructions, you have to move on to the Chisas, at least cover up with the 50% of her concerto bar, and when the 50% concerto bar are applicable, you are going to be enabled with your chainsaw mode, which is the main damage, and hold your basic attack button right off the bat to wait for another character's intro. As you can see that I haven't even get the characters with their full things. Yes, I already fill up our concerto gauge and use our ultimate right off the bat. Hold your basic attacks, and when the basic attacks are going to be done, use your elephant guy and move on to your Hyuki. Sorry, my bad. I'm saying the Chisa. And use an ultimate right off the bat. Do the skill button and also wait for your 3 dots bar to fill up. Yes, this 3 dots bar fill up. Use your right key, and boom, and deploy her ultimate. Oh my god, man. And do the process all over again. Jesus, damage is not bad, to be true. Okay, I will go ultimate for our Lucilla and use her basic attack Please come the outro, man. Come the outro, Yuki. Yes. Ultimate. And break damage. Yes, that's the break damage that I already talked about in my team selections. So if you do have the Lina in that time, I guess you are going to get a much more hard damage than ever. Since you don't even have that, I guess you are going to lose a huge amount of damage on that part. Here we go, ultimate for our Yuki. And let's move on to our next character, which is the, what's the thing again? Chisa, yes. Oh my god. Ultimate for our Lucilla. And hold down her basic attacks from the end. Oh. Her basic attack can give a free parry. That was unheard of. Besides, I haven't even cleared this final stage. I already tried it so many times. I don't even give a single F about the clearing this endgame mode. I just totally give you the showcase what you actually need right now. Okay. There we go. For our breaks. There we go, ultimates. I don't even have that much of a time left to clear these guys off. Almost like 75% HP left. Ultimate for our Jesus. Chainsaw modes activated. And ultimate for our Lucilla. Man. Yo, man. She can give you a free parry when she's actually doing her passive attacks. This is actually cool things, man. The first character to do this kind of like a free parry style was our Jian, which was our first characters when the game was initially released. And right now, I guess she's the one, another one. You see that? I haven't even get it clear with the remaining times. Oh my god. I'm getting good damage, but it is not even enough to clear the endgame mode. Simple enough. So that's all for this like a video. I know that the amount of damage Hyuki was doing in a Tower of Adversity last stages was not even that good enough, but my Hyuki's build is not also bad. If I give you an example, my Hyuki's build around like a 75 was 278. It is by no means a bad build, but I don't even have any idea why my Hyuki and also some other character cannot even do the damage. Is the HPC actually increased or the resistance of a particular element also increased in that boss? I guess it is what it is. I don't even give a F clearing about the endgame mode, since the endgame mode is not even going to be on my territory. It is a whale territory right now. If you don't even have a multiple sequence and also don't even spend a multiple copy on particular characters, it will be actually hard for you to clear the endgame mode and also get the whole rewards. I guess that's all for this like a video. If you like it, leave a like. If you do have any else like a regarding question for the Lucilla and also the final stage of the Tower of Adversity, you can totally let your opinion know into the comment section. I will be replying you there and also try to reach in every other comments whatever you do there. So wait for another video. Up until then, peace.